Hey guys, Charlie here. Welcome back to Good Robottal. Bugglebots Season 2 has come and gone. With some big hits, big shocks, I figure I might as well just do a video going over my general thoughts and opinions, and plus a couple announcements towards the end, so stay tuned. So I didn't tackle Season 1 of Bugglebots at all. Really, it was during a very rough time for the channel. I just got done releasing the 2018 BattleBots pack, and I just started grad school, so my life was really tumultuous at the time. And really, I didn't get around to talking about it at all. I did watch it, though. I thought it was quite good fun, so, I had some expectations coming into Season 2, and I can safely say they were met and exceeded. I guess the best format to do is just kinda go heat by heat, discuss bots here and there, and just, So let's start off with Heat A. Bugglebots takes cues a lot from Robot Wars, which makes sense, was literally created in the wake of Robot Wars cancellation. It includes people that were on Robot Wars, and it's filmed in the UK, where Robot Wars was, so you kind of get some similar, ideas, including with the pit, with sort of having the redemption rounds, the 6-heat format, and also the Champions Heat. Something we saw a lot towards the middle of the Classic Series, where the reigning champion would start off the season in the first heat, and then work their way through there. So we kick things off with K2. And this robot, to me, kind of does a lot of parallels to Bite Force in a way. I mean, it's a big, powerful, 4-wheel drive vertical spinner that really just seems to be on very dominant form most of the time. I mean, it's coming in as the champion, and it's like in BattleBots, where Bite Force is kind of seen as the king. And we also saw 5 other robots come to contend it. That included returning robots Maximum Ogre Drive and Sir Lantifrog, plus newcomers Hold My Beer, Halo, and Rust in Pieces. Going into this, I had K2 down as a safe pick, but I had hopes of Halo. I mean, Halo is a very well-known US Beetleweight. It's a big, melty-brain spinner, kind of like Nuts, but more like a static ring, and it's done quite a bit of damage in the past. It was one that I think people that were in the know had some hope behind. And it started showing off pretty well. It very easily took care of Hold My Beer, which basically is a mini Tough as Nails, and if you know anything about Tough as Nails, that is a robot that could be very well countered to spinners, but in this case, Halo just obliterated it. And it looked like it was doing pretty well, but then Rust in Pieces came by with their 2 robots that kind of remind me of pieces of cheese, but maybe that's because I was hungry when I watched the heat. Whatever. And actually did a really good tactical job and ended up hitting it. So that ended up with our heat final of Rust in Pieces versus K2, and K2 ended up just taking care of business and marked the first spot in the grand final. So Heat B was kind of an interesting one. It only had one returning robot in Snappy, built by a friend of the channel and overall charming man, Craig Croucher. Now, we also had some more friends of the channel in the field, including Dave Laurie, formerly of Two Head Death Flamingo / Jellyfish, with the best name in the competition, Sharks Atrakian, and eventual Heat winner Splody Boy, built by Jeremy Hall and also accompanied by ESC's Rare Granger. We also had Waju, I think I pronounced that Waju, I'm sorry, I'm terrible pronouncing names, Phoenix, and Geared Down for What, rounding out the field. And after Snappy lost out in a close fight with Dummy Speed the robot, the field was pretty much wide open at that point, and it would actually be Splody taking the field out in a very surprising victory. I'll be honest, I had either Snappy or Waju down as my pick, but Splody really impressed me in this. That spinner's got a lot of capability behind it, and it's really good at sniping wheels. So, yeah, I was very well happy with that. They ended up taking the Heat B spot with Phoenix rounding out, and yeah, just a very entertaining heat all around. I think there was one heat that I recommend watching the most out of this entire series. I actually would say it's Heat B. That's not to say that Heat C wasn't entertaining as well. It was actually, in my opinion, probably the most varied heat out of the entire series. You had returning veterans Lame as the main thought. God, why am I so bad at pronouncing things? I am so sorry. Rev 4 and Saw Loser, along with the first Chinese competitor in Bugglebots, Unconscious 514, The Apprentice and Wide Boy, Wid3 Boy, WID3BOI. I'm just on a roll today of pronouncing things. I am so sorry. This one I had down with Saw Loser coming up victorious. It's the most experienced robot out of this entire heat, and it had a very strong showing last season, so I had high hopes for it, and it certainly delivered with some devastating fights, making it all the way to the finals. However, the biggest shock for me in this heat was Lane. I mean, going from Season 1 to Season 2, the improvements were substantial. it had quite a bit of drive and control behind it. I saw shades of Tornado and Rapid in it during its fights. So I was pleasantly surprised to see it make it all the way to the Heat Final, but unfortunately Saw Loser just a little bit too much for it, and it ended up going down to the Rumblebee, but still, very impressed. Can't wait to see what I got in store for any future seasons. Heat 4 was stacked. We had returning machines Claws 2 and 2 Berg 2 Furious, plus my pick to win this whole thing, Daedalus, and we also had veteran US competitor Thunderchild, and rounding it out the field with Annie Are You OK and Hello There from the Spinnerproof Boys rounding out the field. So Daedalus actually started off pretty strong, but then Nate Franklin took one look at my bracket, ripped it up, kicked me in the shins, and then run away laughing as it sent Daedalus out the arena. Once again though, Claws 2 showed it was a survivor. It took an absolute decimation from Daedalus, but continued to work its way through and making the Heat Final. I think it's got quite a lot of tenacity behind it. I'm very impressed with that one especially. Our final heat showed the return of probably the most hyped bot in the entire series with Drizzle from Team Monsoon. This is one that last season, when they first announced Bugglebots and they were going through the roster, that everybody had a lot of hope on. And I feel like it had a bit of issues going into it. It kind of had a similar sort of issues that you saw with Deep 6 and BattleBots, where once it landed on its bar, it kind of would keep it from spinning back up and righting itself. But it's even resolved that actually this season, much to my delight. We also saw the return of Wee Woo, Mini Spinny, and Bourbon, plus rookies Jay and Catalyst to round out the field. Honestly, out of all the bots here, I was not banking on Mini Spinny to go as far, but they really did impress. They had a tear through this heat. Even splitting Bourbon just showed how much contender this bot really is. I will say this though, they definitely had one of my saddest moments in the entire series with Wee Woo going down so early. It's legit one of my favorite bots in the entire competition because it's a cluster bot and a Swiss Army bot hybrid. So with that, Thunderchild, K2, Mini Spinny 2, Saw Loser, and Splody Boy ascend to the Grand Final. Interesting to see the returning champion as the only returning Grand Finalist. And this season there were 2 Rumbles that returned their final spot. Yes, 2. A 10-way Rumble and a 6-way Rumble. Now, in the 10-way, I had my money on Daedalus to take it entirely, and then also for the 6-way as well, if it made it through that far. It was either that or lame, but I know I'm terrible at predictions, so I figured it probably would have gotten knocked down pretty quickly, and then I end up looking ridiculous. But I'm actually glad I got something right for once. Well, partly. Let's get into that. So, probably one of the most controversial moments in the entire series is going to come down to the 10-way Rumble. Now, I'm sure y'all remember the Last Chance Rumble from BattleBots Season 3, where it came down to Duck versus Bombshell, and Bombshell won to a bit of controversy amongst the fanbase. I had similar feelings towards this as I did between Daedalus and Annie Are You OK, the 2 bots that were lasting towards the end of this 10-way Rumble. I can see where they got Daedalus as the winner, but I can also see why Annie Are You OK should have gotten it. Personally, I don't have as much disagreement towards that decision as other people do. I'm kind of taking more of like a middling road here, where I can definitely see both sides of the argument. By the way, side note, Ben from Annie Are You OK is actually going to be entering BattleBots this season with a robot called Bolt. He actually posted his preview video on his own YouTube channel here recently, so please check it out. It looks really interesting so far. Anyways, 6-way Rumble time. Claws 2, Jay, Daedalus, Lame, Rust in Pieces, and Phoenix. It was quick and destructive. Daedalus went on an absolute tear, easily securing the final spot. Although, props go once again to Claws 2. That thing would not give up, being the last spot standing before Daedalus is just able to take it out and move its way on to the grand final. So we have 3 fights in the opening round. Thunderchild vs. Saw Loser was interesting. A very close fight with a bit more controversy behind it. Sort of like, y'all remember Gruff vs. Tombstone from Season 4, where despite having more control, the more damaging machine won out? That's kind of what we saw here, where despite Thunderchild having a lot more of the control, Saw Loser having the damage factor I think is what helped win it in the end. Again, I think this is going to be one that's going to be a bit more contested, but I mean, I can see how it would go both either which way, and honestly, considering the fact it's that Last Chance Rumble, at least it means the consequences weren't going to be as severe as, say, that was just going to be it for Thunderchild. K2 vs. Splody Boy was over and done pretty quickly as K2 continued to show why it is the BO8's answer to Fight Force, as Daedalus is to Tombstone. Both wheels gone pretty quickly, and Splody was in the Last Chance Rumble. And speaking of Daedalus, what a sensational fight I had with Mini Spinny 2. I gotta say, Spinny lasted a lot longer than I think a lot of people were expecting, and showed just how much that thing can take. But in the end, Daedalus just had it. It had a lot more damaging factor, and just seemed to have a lot more control over the fight. So that ends up with our 3 robots in the redemption round: Thunderchild, Exploity Boy, and Mini Spinny. And boy, was this rumble done over and quick. Mini Spinny, I could tell, was still pretty haggard in this fight with Daedalus. It ended up conking out pretty quickly, leading only to Splody and Thunderchild, and with Splody kind of tipping on its back, Thunderchild able to capitalize, pin it, and there you go. Over and done before you know it, and Thunderchild is the 4th robot to make the final 4. So rematch city here as K2 fights Saw Loser once again. A very close fight. I gotta say, Saw Loser put up with a ton of abuse. It was also the first time I've ever seen the pit release actually hinder a robot, with the tire being jammed up in K2's spinner. Went to the judges, and K2 ended up getting the win, making it the 2nd time it reaches the grand final in spectacular fashion. And then we also have another rematch with Daedalus versus Thunderchild once again, where my PTSD and my bracket falling down around me comes back once again. And wouldn't you know it, I got wrecked once again. So our grand final: Thunderchild versus K2, USA versus UK, the plucky underdog versus the champ. But before we get into that, we have a 3rd place playoff between Daedalus and Saw Loser. And Jesus, that poor ZX Spectrum of Saw Loser got the worst end of the deal. Saw Loser took up with a lot in this grand final, and it finally got to it here. Daedalus just was able to absolutely tear through Saw Loser. May our colorful plucky boy rest in peace. Daedalus secures the 3rd place in gruesome fashion. Our grand final, what a clinic it was. Quite the back and forth. Thunderchild stayed in control, but K2 landed some devastating blows. It was a very close fight all around, actually going to the judges, which, that's my kind of grand final right there. And it ended up going to K2. I think a large part is that towards the end, if you watch closely, you can see that Thunderchild started to kind of crab walk a bit towards the end. And I think that may have swayed it a little bit there, but still though, congratulations to Thunderchild for getting this far. It's a bit of an older robot, been around for quite a while, and to stand up to some tough competition is nothing short of impressive. But K2 once again shows it is king, and ends up taking the win of Season 2 of Bugglebots, going as the 2-time champion. Congratulations to Mark and K2, that thing is something we feared. Announcement time! 2 announcements. First up is a brand new series of channel called Charlie's Beetle Build. So this won't be a scheduled series per se because I am both broke and dumb. But it's going to be my chronicle to build a Beetleweight robot on my own step by step. I'll publish a design video and idea of this thing probably in mid-February. I'm working out sort of the general idea of it right now, and I'm going to try to shoot to get to either some events down here near me and maybe eventually go over to the UK with it, but I'm not expecting anything to like really come out that great. It's more just to kind of chronicle me figuring out how anything works, and, you know, show that even a total newbie like me could probably make something. Second one, Bugglebots expansion for the BattleBots pack. And this is going to be the biggest expansion for the 2019 pack that it will ever get. Robots from this season of Bugglebots will be replicated in Robot Arena 2, and it will be big. Not only in size, but also the size of the bots themselves. Yeah, this game isn't the best when it comes to scale, so instead, I'm just going to scale them up to be equivalent to the BattleBots. I'll post some updates as this thing goes along, and worst case scenario, it'll be done by RoboNerd 2020. So yeah, Bugglebots Season 2, pretty good stuff. I'd say it's step above Season 1 in quality and in variety. If there's a Season 3, hopefully this trend will continue, and who knows, maybe someday I'll turn up my abomination of a robot and be killed in spectacular fashion. But we'll see when we get to that crossroad. Till then, I'm Charlie, thanks for watching.